record on this computer. Okay, so I just started to record. All right, we'll get started
Okay.
here. All right, so welcome everybody to the WAGT live call here with Dr. Bob Winters. We have about 45 minutes to an hour scheduled for this call. Hopefully, we'll have some others join here, but if not, the call is being recorded and we can share it out. As you can see here on the screen, we got the three R's for our agenda here: rankings, recruiting, and rewards. And wanted to before I go to the through our agenda, I wanted to introduce. He requires no introduction, but Dr. Bob Winters. He is our official mental coach for the World Amateur Golf Tour, and he is known as the godfather of junior golf development, also known as the confidence doctor, and wrote many different books about junior golf development. You started the Nike junior golf development program decades ago,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, Gene, I did. And really one of the things, I have been so involved with is taking young players and really helping them cultivate their talent, increase their skill acquisition and their abilities so that they could actually go out and compete. And so many of them, wanted to play on their junior high, junior varsity golf teams in high
Yeah.
school, and then, take it on to college. And so that's exactly what I've done. And I have, been in contact with you now over the past several weeks, and very excited about being part of, the World Amateur Golf Tour. And so we can actually present so many different things to, the tour. One of the things that most people don't know about me is that I was one of the original people that actually helped start the Nike Golf program. One of their four original directors. This is back in the early 90s, and Nike had underwritten a lot of these things. So I was one of the four original directors. I did it for like 31, 32 years. And so I put thousands and thousands of junior golfers through our programs. And I added, a mental game development program. And that's why so
Mhm.
many of the junior golfers wanted to actually come to my schools. Plus, over the last 27 years, I've been the resident sports psychologist for David Ledbetter and the Ledbetter Golf Academies, our flagship Golf Zone Ledbetter Academy here at Reunion Resort. And one of the things, I've been able to do with our, new junior golf students is give them, years and years of my experience to expedite the process. And that's really what we're going to do here on the WAGT is that we're going to actually enhance, these young junior players. And before I even kind of get going here, Gene, I'm very excited to be, working with you and your entire staff. And I want, the players and the parents and everyone to know is that I'm just not really what we call a mental coach. I am a player first. I have played at every competitive level in golf. I was a collegiate coach at University of Virginia for 9 years. I've actually, helped start the Nike Golf Schools, like I said, been involved with so many academies, and I've worked with over, maybe now 75 different, Division I, two, and three college programs, NAIA programs. So I pretty much know, inside and out, about the game of golf, really what it's going to take. And
Mhm.
that's the one thing that really hasn't changed, Gene. One thing that hasn't changed is golf. And,
Yeah.
golf is a tough game, it's a challenging game, and everybody has to sort of navigate their way through these mental and physical obstacles. So I'm here to help and really excited, for you to explain the WAGR points and the World Amateur Golf Tour to our listening and viewing audience.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Bob Winters. I mean, we're so excited and honored to have you. Um, when we started WAGT, we actually weren't just targeting junior amateurs, right? But we have collegiate players and we have mid amateurs who also compete at WAGT. So, can you tell us a little bit about some notable players, for example, who have gone through your programs. And
What? Well,
what
in
did
my
they bring
program,
to? Mhm.
okay. Well, my program, I've had people such as Brooks Koepka when he was younger, when he was, a junior golfer, and actually helped him sort of, make that transition from junior golf to collegiate golf at Florida State. Also, a young Tony and Gipper Finau from our Ledbetter Golf Academy helped them exactly go through different stages. But those are just a few. We have so many NCAA champions, just great champions have played at almost every level now. So those are just a few. The list would be exhaustive. And but the point of it is that I think I've worked now with over I really believe I've coached over about 124 different All-Americans. I've had many NCAA Division One, Two, and Three champions. I've had Masters, U.S. Open champions, collegiate champions, collegiate team champions. So part of our whole program is to help people understand one thing. You play to win, but you refuse to lose. And that's really just the basic is that when you play to win, it isn't about winning the outer game or winning the result or winning the trophy. It's about putting in a great quality effort every
Mhm.
day, every hole, all tournament long. And the more that you can do that and get into what we call the process, your process, you have to develop it. You have to actually create it. You have to own it. And the more that you take ownership of it and the more that you actually go out and go play, the more that you actually develop enduring, stable confidence. Your scores become more stable, they become lower. And your bad days aren't as bad, and your good days are even better. So
Mhm.
that's really what we're trying to do with the program. Playing to win, but refusing to lose, refusing to put in that I just don't have it today. The
Right.
apathy, the just the doldrums. Is that that's just anathema to a golfer because when you hear the best players in the world, both on the PGA, LPGA, European, DP World Tours, they will tell you that when they win tournaments, it wasn't because they were striking the ball well at all. It was because they had good self management, course management, mind management, emotional composure. Those are the things that really make a great player. And I think the WAGT is a perfect platform for helping develop that, for helping showcase that, and at the same time, earning these great world amateur ranking points.
Yes, absolutely. And our events are they're not 18 hole events, right? It's not a 1 day round of golf. And it's not even 36 holes. So we do 54 hole
Mm-hmm.
WAGR eligible events, right? And so kind of similar to what Live Golf does today and the pros, they have multiple rounds in a tournament. And it's one thing to perform well, because anybody, even including myself, I could shoot a
Yeah.
decent score on any particular day, right? But to
Mm-hmm.
do it over 2 days and 3 days, and once you get to the pro level, obviously it's like 4 days. That's a whole different story, right?
Well,
And
it is. And
yeah.
like you say, 54 holes is really sort of the venue that a lot of club championships are going to, a lot of collegiate events. In fact, a lot of collegiate events are doing 54 holes over 2 days. They'll go 36 holes the first day, kind of making a marathon, and then follow up with the final 18 holes the next day.
Hmm.
I I just think, that's a wonderful thing because I've always said one thing, Gene, is that, more holes in competition favors the more talented player. When we talk about an 18-hole competition, it's almost like a blitzkrieg. You can come in there and really get hot, run the tables. Or
Hmm.
if you're not really getting off to a good start, you're kind of behind the eight ball. That's 18 holes. 36 holes, a little bit better. But I've always said that, the more holes you play, it really favors, the talented player because the talent, that cream, starts to come to the surface. So
Okay.
I think, the 54 holes is a great, way to actually showcase, these young players' talent.
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, I've got so many questions for you myself, and
Okay.
I wish we had some more people on right now, but we're gonna save the Q&A till the end. But I do have one more thing before we get onto our agenda. And that
Okay.
is, and I used to tell Ethan, my boy, this too, that golf is at least 80% mental. Uh, what do you think about that? Like, how does the mental game and the physical game, how are they interrelated?
Well, you're about 20% off there, G. I just want to say, no, really, the game is
Yeah,
100% physical. It
yeah,
is.
yeah.
But it's also 100% mental. It's also 100% emotional and 100% compartmental. And you're going, wow, Dr. Winters, that's a lot of percentages there, right? You're
Hmm.
kind of exceeding it. What I'm saying is that action follows thought. Your feelings, thoughts, and behaviors are all intertwined. And where does one begin and one, end off? Okay. Everything is integrated. Action follows thought. And if your head, your mind, and your body and your spirit is in the right place moving forward, everything else falls into place.
Hmm.
So, you really can't separate, say, well, golf's just 50% mental, 50% physical. No, it's totally integrated. I said this
That's
years ago
fantastic.
in one of my first books.
Yeah.
I thought I was being very smart when I said that, but Ben Hogan said that many, many years ago, back in the late 40s and early 50s, that golf is 100% mental, 100% physical. But he left
Mm.
out the emotional and the compartmental spots. And compartmentalization means when I go to the golf course, I've got to be able to put away my school books, my academic issues, whatever's going on in the outside, and I've got a particular challenge. I've got to be ready to play the game because your greatest adversary isn't the competition that you're facing. It's the actual game itself, the
Hmm.
course itself. And even Scotty Scheffler was talking about the reason why he's been so consistent. He realizes the value of beating the course. And I've been talking about that for 40, almost 45 years to all of my players. So that's your number one adversary. It
Yeah.
isn't about you versus you. That's old time, antiquated bad thinking. It's you for you. You playing the game and you helping yourself be your own best caddy, your own best support team, your own best mental coach, and being your best friend and cheerleader. That's just gospel right there. So yeah,
Yeah.
so
Oh,
that's it. Hmm.
that's fantastic. That's fantastic. Okay. All right. So now, we're gonna save our Q&A until the end of the call. So I wanted to go over
Okay.
our agenda here.
Okay.
All right. Let me see if I can get to the next page. Okay, there we go. All right. Do you see the agenda? Oh, wait, just go back here. All right. You should be able to see here what we'll cover.
Yes.
You see,
Yeah.
okay, great. All
Beautiful.
right.
Yeah.
So
I've got
perfect. All
all
right.
this.
So
All through 1 through 8. Yeah.
one through
Absolutely.
eight. All right, here we go. All right. So
Okay.
we're going to cover here 1 through 8, starting off with what is Wagger, and followed by why the World Amateur Golf Tour was created, right? It was actually created out of frustration.
Mm.
And number three, how WGT helps our three different groups here: juniors, collegiate, and amateur golfers. And then also a little quick comparison between Wagger and AJGA. A lot of, all the junior golfers are very, very familiar with AJGA, but they're not really familiar with Wagger, believe it or not. And a lot of international players, all they know is Wagger, right? Because they're not American. But all right, on to number five. You know what? And I'm really curious since you were a collegiate Division I coach, Dr. Winters. On topic
Hmm.
five, like what college coaches are looking for, right? In elite golfers. And then we're going to kind of segue into our rewards program and things that are on our roadmap for the tour in terms of scholarship opportunities and other types of programs. And then we'll get into some Q&A. I'll be doing most of the Q&A, but we've got a couple people on who can also ask questions. All right.
Okay. Very good.
Okay, great. So, what is WAGR, right? It stands for World Amateur Golf Ranking, right? But it is the it is a single platform, right? That collegiate golfers and championship committees, federations, obviously the USGA created this WAGR system, and it's a system that evaluates amateur players, right? So not professional players. If they're making money playing golf, this is not for and can't be included in the WAGR system. And it's the official, scoring system for amateurs around the world, right? Very, very
Mhm.
simply. Okay, next, how WAGR points, right? So this is something that I was very, very curious about, and there's a little bit of mystique to how some of these things are calculated. But with Wagger events, right? There are 54 events, and the evaluation period occurs over 104 weeks or 2 years, right? And so over those 2 years, first of all, you need to place either first or in the top of the leaderboard in order to get a WAGR ranking, right? And what's important isn't the size of the field, right? It's actually more important. What's more important is the field power, right? And so we're a startup tour. We've actually had three events now and all very successful events. And the field power has ranged between like 14 with our recent event to as high as 26 points, right? Now there are other tournaments where you've got hundreds of players where the field size actually does determine the field power. But what's more important is, who you beat, right? So if you're beating world ranked players, the field power uh, is going to demonstrate that, right? And then there are points. Obviously, there's WAGR points that you accumulate, and the stronger the field, the more points that's going to be attributed to it, and vice versa, or conversely, the weaker the field, the fewer points they're going to be assigned to that particular tournament. Now we've got an applied divisor, and I'm going to kind of show some examples of some player rankings so that you understand what this is. But essentially, a divisor is a number that counts every counting event. So every counting event, right? So if you've played 24 events over that 104-week period, then this number will be more or less the same, right? So it's by event, right? So 36 holes, you can have a 54-hole event where one round was canceled due to adverse weather, so it's 36 holes. That's one event, right? Or if you played 54 holes of golf, that's one event. Um, and oop, Sorry about that. Oh gosh, my mouse is going a little crazy here.
Mhm.
So let me switch over. I'm going to try to switch over my screen here um, and show some examples of what this looks like. Okay. Share my other screen here. Okay, so I am showing the website. Can you see is this for Tankun Riddisorn?
Yes, I see
Yes.
this.
Okay. Perfect. Perfect. Okay. So this is the wagger.com website, and you can search by player name, right? So Tankun, he goes by TK. He's actually a local junior over at Dwyer High School in Palm Beach Gardens, and he actually competed in two of our events, our first two events. And in the first event, if you look down here, the WAGT Okehili Invitational. The power of this event was 25. We actually combined this event because we didn't actually have 16 boys in order to make it WAGR eligible. So we combined the event with the ladies, and the field power was actually a little bit more. It was almost 26 here. As you can
Hmm.
see here, he TK earned his WAGR ranking, right? He earned his first time. He's got a WAGR ranking now, and he earned a little over 7 points, right? And he actually came in our second event at Sandridge, which was a couple months back. And he actually won back to back. So what's
Mhm.
interesting here is he was when he first earned his WAGA ranking, he was almost 5,000, like 4,900 world ranked. And after he won the second event, he not only took 6 points, but his ranking improved by over 500 spots, right? So his current ranking is 4,307. He was like 4,900 before, right? And as you can see here, this applied divisor, right, is 8 versus 2. The difference is here is that Weiger actually uses a floor. So TK has only played 2 events, right? But they don't divide it by 2. Weiger actually has a floor of 8. So this 8 number, this applied divisor, this is one that they applied, not 2, in order to determine their point average, right? So let me kind of segue to another example here. So this is Sean Koltoff. He just won our most recent event this past weekend, right? He's a FSU Seminole. I think Dr. Bob, you know Sean actually, and
Yeah, yeah,
his dad.
he's been one of my people for many, many years. Yeah,
Right,
really
right, right,
great
right. Yeah.
young player. Uh-huh.
Yeah, we were very, very excited to have him. He was already a world ranked player, but he wanted to join our tournament actually because number one, all our tournaments are all across Florida. Before we started WAGT, that was not the case. It was very difficult to find WAGR events here in Florida. So really thankful that Sean found us and was able to join. But he put on an incredible performance. He finished at 15 under par for the tournament. Our prior 2 tournaments, the winning score was 1 under, right? So he definitely raised the level of play. But the thing that I wanted to point out here is that he's played in a few Wagger events, right? And as you can see here, some of the field power is, the Florida Amateur Championship, as an example, over 111 points in terms of field power, right?
Hmm.
And he gained, based on his finish of 35, he gained 3 points, right? Another example here, let's see, 39 points here at the Tampa Bay Amateur. He gained 4 points after placing sixth, right? Well, in our event here, which is this WAGT College Commit Classic at Boynton Beach, he placed first and he won almost 6 points, right? So this is a perfect example that shows, right, that the field power matters, but the thing that I want to stress to our players is this: if you don't have a world ranking, right? Number one, your objective, you need to go get one. Okay. And in order to get one, you need to participate in a WAGR eligible event, right? And so because we are now starting out, we've only had our third event thus far, but they're all WAGR eligible events, and the field size is a lot smaller, right? So right now, if you're not world ranked, this is the perfect opportunity to compete in one of our tournaments and number one, get your world ranking, right? Um, Case in point here on the women's side at our recent event, Vanessa Zepeda here, who plays for Barry University, right? For the first time, she plays WAGR events. But this is the first time where she actually earned her world ranking. She placed first in a relatively smaller field, but she got her world ranking, right? The field power was only 10, but again, and she earned a little over 5 points, right? 5.4 points. Now, let me go over to the best case scenario here. So this is Leah Graham. She's a junior over at Dwyer High School, same as TK Rittersorn. And in the last event, she won, but she's played in over 24 counting events, right? A lot of different events here. And as you can see, some of these events are huge, right? 112, 150. Leah is from Sweden, right? So she knows Wagger very, very well. But she's played in some very, very strong fields, right? But again, in the stronger fields, it's very, very difficult to win, right? And just case in point here. So in our event here, she earned, even though the field power was only 14, she earned almost 6 points, 5.95 points, right? That's actually the most points she's earned in a single tournament here, as you can see on this page, right? The next closest is the last one here, where she gained 5.8 points from the Arnold Palmer Invitational, right? That was recently held. She had a nice finish at fourth. Um, so anyway, this is kind of a segue into the next segment of the presentation, which I'll share here. Which is why we started the World Amateur Golf Tour. Let me go ahead and switch my screens here. Reshare. Okay. All right. All right. Can you see the deck now?
Haven't, hasn't shown up yet here, Gene.
No? Oh, okay.
Okay, how Wagger works. Was that it
Nope, you got
right
it.
there?
Yep. All right. There it is. There it is. Okay, perfect. All right. So,
Okay,
yeah.
I don't see it here. I just see me.
Oh, you just see
I
you
see me
now?
on my
Oh, okay.
I
Okay.
yeah.
Let me try this again. Let
Try
me
this
try this
again.
again. Yep. There you go. Share two. Screen two.
It was up just for a second, and then it actually sort of was gone.
Oh. Oh gosh. What is going on? Let me see here.
How Wagger works. It's up here now. Okay.
Oh, it is now. Oh, okay. All right. Well, hopefully that, but oh, darn it.
Yeah.
All right, let's try
I
this. There's a
haven't
lag.
been
There's a serious
okay.
lag here. Yeah, it might be my internet connection. Let's
Okay.
see. All right, let's try this again. Okay, I'm gonna try not to click any more buttons after this. Keeping my fingers crossed.
Okay. I'll give you a thumbs up, when
There
it
we
comes
go.
up.
There we go. I think there we go. I can see it now. Okay. All right. So how Wagger works here, as I mentioned, the more counting events you play, obviously the more opportunities for you to boost your ranking. After you acquire your ranking, the strength of the field matters versus the field size, as I just showed you, right? So our events, the field size is much less, but based on the field power and the points allocation that the winner actually gets, you actually get more. You actually get a lot more points with our events. And so one of the things that I wanted to say is, if you're a player, right, and you're Wagger ranked, and you want to become a top 1,000, 2,000 players, right? Come join our events. Plain and simple, right? So, Sean, for example, Koltov, he improved his world ranking by over 570 spots with his latest victory, right? TK Riddersorn, he also, after got his card at our first event, in our second event, his ranking jumped over 500 spots, right? So if you could do that over 4, 5 WAGR events, right? And jump 400, 500 spots, you can, you could become a top 1,000, top 2,000 ranked player, right? And doctor, what does that mean? Like, what does that mean?
Well,
Becoming a
let's go
top,
back.
yeah.
Yeah, let's go back to the young lady who was playing in all those different events.
Yes,
She was
Leah
playing
Graham.
in
Uh-huh.
Leah Graham. Okay. So Graham, I was looking at, she was playing in the Nelly, she was playing in the Florida Women's Amateur, she was playing in a lot of great events, some AJGA, just other, Florida State Golf Association, USGA events,
Hmm.
like the Nelly, and she was playing very well. Now, I will tell this to all of our viewing audience. There is no substitute, none whatsoever. And Tiger Woods and I talked about this one time a few years ago, up at when they're getting ready to play another tournament. Charlie was watching his son Charlie play, and I've known Tiger. I first introduced myself to him when I was coaching at Virginia when he was playing for Stanford. So I've
Hmm.
known Tiger just a little bit. Very very cordial meetings, but we were talking about the whole notion about playing tournaments. No substitute for tournament experience. But what I was really looking at is she was playing in all these different events and getting maybe 2 points, 3 points, 4 points, and getting a lot of wisdom, getting a lot of exposure, a lot of experience from playing all these events. But at the same time, getting Wagger points when she was actually here. So,
Hmm.
I mean, here she plays in one event. So, really, and I wanted to point this out, Gene, is that when the I'll go to another tour. When the HAGA started back in 1978, I mean, there really weren't all that many junior tours really going on. So the people that really got in there early on some of these early tours took advantage of them. People like Willie Wood, people like Heather Farr, people like Bob May, Phil Mickelson. All these people were actually getting on, this junior tour and winning. Now I'm looking here at, the WAGT and what, we are offering, to these young people. I mean, juniors, collegiate players, amateurs. We're giving them a chance to get into great competition. All right. They may not have fields yet of 100, 144, but that, really benefits them. If you've got a field that's got 25 to 50 to 60 players, well, your chances have just really increased, and you would be foolish not to take advantage and jump right in here to the WAGT, especially when you're getting World Amateur Golf ranking points. So for me, I think again, we offer a great venues, great competition, but we offer something that everyone's looking at. And I have all my players internationally. I mean, they're looking for those Wagger points. They're looking for this tour. And everything they do, whether it's being in Vietnam or Singapore, Hong Kong, Thailand, or wherever, we're playing, the Wagger, they're looking for those points. And that's really what they're doing, trying to boost. I mean, I think Sean's a perfect example. You said he improved his world ranking by what, 500 points?
About 500 spots, actually.
500 spots. Yeah, I mean, that's
Yes.
fantastic. So,
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, this is such, a wonderful thing. And I think, like I told you when I first heard about, your tour, I said, I can read a roadmap. All right. I see where this is going. This is something really, really big and it's going to be great. And so people, take advantage of this. Let's just jump onto these things and let's get going and get us, some Wagger points.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. That's right. Yeah, again, I cannot echo enough. I mean, the international, players from around the world. I mean, they
Yes,
understand, right? They
they
understand. Like
do.
Leah, I mean, she's played all she plays is our Wagger events, actually, and so a lot of the players from Asia, right? All they're looking for are Wagger eligible events. right? And that's kind of a good segue actually into the next slide, which oh, wait a minute. Went way too far here. Oh, my finger is so trigger happy here. What's going on?
Well, I mean, it is true when you talk about the international players, and I've
Yeah.
been very blessed to work with people like Rianne Maliksi, who plays for Duke, who won the USGA Junior Girls Amateur and the Women's Amateur the same year in 2024. And her world amateur rankings went up, but she was already a world ranked player.
Hmm.
Ariana Lau from Hong Kong, I mean, she was a world ranked player. Harry Ho from Vietnam. All of these players, really started out not, in some of these other events. They started out with Wagger, and that's really where the India Golf Federation. I have Vihan Jain, who really a big with the India Golf Federation. They
Mm.
use Wagger points. So there are so many things that use Wagger that many of the junior golfers here in America aren't really familiar with. But we
Yeah.
are trying to actually resolve that issue. We're trying to
Yeah.
introduce them to Wagger. So this is the place to be here in 2026 and 2027 for sure.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah, we're trying to educate. In fact, my wife and I, my wife is actually the CEO and co-founder of WAGT. And when we moved to Florida about 5 years ago from Nevada, and where Ethan became a top-ranked player in Nevada. And we moved out here and we continued to play these other tours. I mean, they're great tours, right?
Yes.
Star-based, performance-based entry, star-based
Sure.
type of tours. But we didn't know. We had no idea about Wagger until an actual international coach told us about it. And then also, I was very frustrated too because it was very difficult for Ethan to get into some of these tournaments, these AJGA tournaments. He's on these alternate lists with hundreds of other kids. And yet I know I see him working hard and he's improving, right? Every single day he's improving, but he's not given the opportunities to play. And then when he does get the opportunity, he's going to Nowhere USA to nowhere golf courses, and I spent like $1,500 sending him to, these really kind of rundown courses, just to earn a star.
Yeah.
So I was very frustrated because, it's becoming very expensive and we're doing a lot of traveling. And this kind of segues to how WGT was born. Like, why we're in Florida, all right? We're in South Florida. And why are there not, no Wagger uh, tournaments like Wagger eligible tournaments in Florida. And so that's how we started actually the World Amateur Golf Tour. And so now, we have 54 hole events all over Florida, right? And
Mm-hmm.
so we're going to
Yes.
start in the fall. We have our Orlando swing. And
Mm-hmm.
we've already got, we've got 3 events planned in September. And we've got one event in October, November, and December, including our Wagger championship, where it's only going to be Wagger ranked players competing in our season closer event. So, so anyway, we're very excited. And we've kind of skipped through here because we're actually going up on time. But a little comparison here between Wagger and AJGA. Our scope obviously is global, right? And we are supporting all ages, right? Juniors, collegiate players, mid-amateurs. On the AJGA side, right? They obviously support great tours supporting junior golf, performance
Absolutely.
based, but it's only for juniors, right? And the difference is there's a shelf life here. Oop. But when you turn 18, right? Or I should say, when you turn 19, your stars, they expire, right? You can't carry over those stars into the next pathway, right? Whereas with Wagger, as long as you remain an amateur, right, your points will follow you, right? And so that's what we're trying to educate, like parents. players, hey, look, invest in a system that's going to it's going to stay with you, right? And granted, some of these events are 18 hole, 36 hole, and I understand from a cost standpoint, it's cheaper, right? Our events are 3-day events, and it's at great venues, and it's going to be, on a dollar for dollar basis, a little bit more expensive. But the difference is that, if you're in Florida, you don't need to travel, right? You can drive to these venues. You don't have to stay in hotels. And most importantly, you can earn your WAGA ranking and boost your ranking, right? That's the whole point. Um, all right. So this next slide is here kind of the crux of what our players are looking for, right? My son, same way. They're looking for a pathway to collegiate golf, right? And preferably D1 programs, right? And so what we offer here is, verified scoring, right? Coaches are looking for legitimate venues or tournaments, right, where these players are competing in, and the Wagger system offers that, right? Number two here, and this my son is a perfect example of this, right? He is kind of a late bloomer, and maybe some other players or parents can relate to this, but my son just grew like 5 inches in a year, and he's 16. And so now we're dealing with a lot of physical changes and happening in his body. And so his game it kind of you know peaked, and then he went through this growth spurt and emotional spurt, and his game kind of suffered. But now he's back on the up track again, right? And so I'm sure there's a lot of players who are or parents who are in the same boat, right? I mean, these boys, they go through so much transformation, when they go through these teenage years, and Daddy Caddy, for so many years since he was 8 years old, and I got fired as a daddy caddy. There's no more daddy caddy anymore, right? He wants to do everything on his own. And even though I feel like, hey, look, no one knows your swing better than your mom and dad. We've been coaching you since you were like 4 years old. But that's no longer that's not something that he wants. And so anyway, I was kind of venturing off there, but we want to give players the opportunities who are improving, right? And they're dealing with all these transformations, mental, physical, emotional. We want to give them the opportunity to compete, right? Without having to go all the way across the country, when they ultimately get invited to play, right? When a spot opens up. Okay, so here we got number three, how you lose, right? Doctor, tell me about this, right? What are coaches what are they looking at other than just, your scoring abilities?
Well, I think that's the key element right here, Gene. I think you've done a great job of highlighting all of it. Yes, a score gets you sort of noticed, right? It's sort of like going to the movie theater. You get into the movie theater. It doesn't guarantee you the seat. All right. So coaches are looking at players. They're looking at their demeanor, their deportment. How they treat people, how they say hello to you. Do they look you in the eye? Because when you're a college coach, what you're looking at someone you're going to invest hundreds of thousands of dollars in, a lot of time, 4 to 5 years. You're really sort of adopting a family member for 4 or 5, 6 years and helping
Hmm.
them, develop, through, a pretty critical time in their, upbringing. And I've always said, it's easy to walk and talk and act like a champion when you're playing really well. But can you walk, talk, and act like a champion when you're playing like a chump? Now that's a different, that's a different success picture. And I think this is a point, number three, number four, how you lose, but who you really are. Coaches, they're looking at how you treat your parents, how you talk to your coaches, how you treat officials. they're looking at the whole picture, and like I say, it's really easy, to be peaches and cream when everything's going well. But
Hmm.
when you're, really having a crap sandwich, all right, you've got to be able to make the very best crap sandwich you possibly can because you're going to have to eat it. And that's the whole point. So for me, I mean, all of these, what coaches are really looking for, they're looking for someone that they can say, this is your young man or young woman that I really want to be a part of. They want to be a part of us. We're excited to bring them into our family, because
Hmm.
that's really what a college team is. It is a family, and they're very close knit. You're going to be spending 4 to 5 years of your life, and that's really your personal and your social life is
Yeah.
really based a lot around the team because you're spending so much time with them. Obviously, student athletes, academics are seriously important, but you have to have a right fit. And that's why it's so important, for players to have, these type of rankings so that coaches say, wow, this player, Tom and Judy have WAGR rankings. That, suggests to them that they are serious competitors. And that's really what coaches are looking for. And it's true what you said. Coaches do recruit competitors, and they all these different tours. It's great to play all these different tours. But the nice thing about the WAGT, it's a very simple, economical way to give yourself great competition, great exposure, and a lot of coaches will look at your results and go, "Oh, okay, that's good. That's really good. That's just another feather in your cap, so to speak." So this is really, truly, this is a really nice thing you've done here. They're looking at not how you did in one tournament. They're looking at over, the long continuing stages. And here's the other part. We're going to hear a lot of parents, tell their kids, you've got to shoot scores. And a player sort of takes that on and goes, I have to shoot a score. I've got to shoot good
Hmm.
scores to get on the radar. That's kind of a fallacy. I mean, it is and it isn't. Coaches are looking at someone, but when they actually see a player, okay, they know this is the player that's going to get better. I've seen so many players at 14, 15 get a lot of offers and coaches are very interested. But by the time they get to 16, 17, by the time they get ready to actually make that transition from senior to freshman, year in college, they've plateaued. In fact, sometimes they've even got a little bit worse. What we
Hmm.
know from the research in all of colleges, even from the European universities, the very best players who get to become elite players, in college and after college and going on into the professionals, were fairly average. They were really sort of kind of getting things together. They were actually developing their acumen. They were developing their golfing resume, if you will, and they were
Hmm.
learning by doing. And I think that's really what the WAGT really gives them. Here you
Yeah.
are, you're getting great competition, great point system, and you're also learning by doing. And so I just think it's awesome. That's really what coaches. And I really want to say this is that no matter who you are, I mean, we always say liars figure, but figures don't lie. If you're really shooting some good scores, doing some great things, moving up the ladder, coaches will find you. I mean, it's amazing, the job that college, do as recruiters, and they will know who you are, regardless, of where you play or where you're from.
Right, right. Okay. Yeah. Thank you for that, Doctor. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'm actually, we have only a few minutes left, so I want to kind of quickly brush over this next part of the agenda here, just to give players incentives, right? To sign up for more of our events. We have a rewards program. It's a 10% rewards program where every dollar that you spend, 10% of it you earn as credits towards your entry fees, right? And right now we have a welcome bonus of $100 that you can join. In fact, this is kind of what we're going to offer in conjunction with Dr. Winters here. It's a special offering on our future entries. We'll give you $100 off when you join this program. And again, every time you spend, like on these entry fees, you get 10% back, right? We also give $50 back for referrals. You refer a friend or another player on your team, then you get $50 credit towards your entry fees as well. So you can just sign up on our website and click on the rewards program. All right, so this is really quickly here on our roadmap. We're developing a lot of different programs, and really, really soon here, we're going to be offering scholarship opportunities, based on need, but also, based on, their academics and of course their golf as well. But also, kind of how they're helping their communities, as they develop as players. So we're very excited about what's to come. This is all kind of in development, and we'll be able to make some announcements here, hopefully in the next few weeks. All right, and then finally, all right. Now we're into the Q&A section here. We're almost on
Okay.
time, but I wanted to get in, Doctor, if you have a few more minutes here, because I think this is the gold nuggets, right? This is where we get that wealth of information from you, and I'm so excited that you're able to join us today.
Hmm.
So one of the things that I'm a head case myself. We're all
Okay.
crazy about golf, and one of the big questions I have is, when I approach a hole on a particular course, I always remember exactly how I shot or how I played that hole the last time. And I ended up scoring exactly the same. The drive, the pull to the left. I always remember that, right?
Hmm.
When I approach the hole. So what is something that you would recommend, right? I'm not a goldfish. I can't easily forget, what I shot the last time or the last several times on that same course, on that same hole. What can we do to kind of
Well,
thwart that?
the most important thing is remember, the most important number in golf is not 72, it's not 54, it's not 68. The most important number in golf is one. It's one shot. I mean, this is the one time you
Mm,
get to do something in your life in this present moment. We talk so much about being in flow and being in the present moment. And you listen to the best PGA and LPGA winners, and they say the same thing every week. I played my game. I beat the course. I played one shot at a time. I didn't think about the leaderboards. You have to understand, these just aren't cliches. These are the golden nuggets. So
mhm,
no matter if you have actually played, this same hole or this same course terribly before, this, is a brand new opportunity. And that's what you have to be able to take a look at. This is a new creation because if you're always replaying those old tapes, it's sort of like you going into your car and every time you push on the radio or you push on your CD or whatever you play, you're hearing the same song over and over. SSDD, same song, different day, same song, different day. and
Yeah.
and the point of it is you get very monotonous and you expect, oh, here we go again. But you have to break that cycle and go, okay, here we go, I'm going to start fresh on this hole. And it's what we have to do on every shot. And that's why golf is so
Mhm,
so tough. You have to count every shot, but at the same time, you have to make every shot count.
mhm.
And that's kind of a different mindset of saying, oh, I have to shoot a 72 or whatever. But if you can make every shot count and know that every shot is a new creation, now you're starting to actually move into the level of elite mindset. That's really what I would say.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. Okay. I guess I've got some questions here that are up here, some common questions here. When should
Okay.
my player start chasing Wagger? I think we've covered that,
Yeah.
on our call, right? You want to try
Sure.
to, yeah, you want to try to start as soon as possible. Like I said, the stars,
Yeah.
star-based systems, right? That expires after you turn 18, right? And if you want to continue to develop your career in golf, and playing golf, then the WAGR system allows you to do that, right? You're able to accumulate points as long as you stay an amateur. And for some, that could lead to a professional career in golf, right?
Yeah, Gene, the question really becomes why? Why wouldn't you take advantage of the WGAT?
Yeah.
Obviously you can play in all these different, tournaments, but why wouldn't you actually take advantage to be right here in Florida, to actually take advantage of winning, and winning some spots, winning some points, and,
Hmm.
and improving yourself. So to me, whether you want to play in an IGA, FSGA, whatever it is, HAG, HJGT, whatever. That's great, fantastic. Just add the WAGT to that, and I think that will have a real nice balanced flow. Because we
Yeah.
always talk about, well, how many tournaments are too much? Well, just depends, and because I've had a lot of people say, I like to sort of space it out or whatever, so I can kind of taper and kind of get myself prepared for it. And there's other times, when you are in a groove, you can't wait to get to the next tournament. So,
That's right.
it's something about setting your schedule. But I think, as in everything, is that these are young people. They need a little bit of balance, but we just can't be golf, golf, golf. Uh, it's just we just can't inundate them with golf. It's like taking an aspirin. One or two aspirins fine, but can't take the whole bottle, right? So I think if
Yeah.
we space it out just a little bit and give yourself some time and actually look at it and use that feedback from that tournament. What did I do well? What do I need to improve? How do we actually move forward? Those are
Hmm.
some really good things, and I think that's really what we're trying to promote here.
Right, right. Absolutely, absolutely. Okay, so the rules have kind of changed now, like in terms of outreach, like player outreach to Division 1 coaches or to coaches and vice versa, right? So this was a question that came up here, like how do we talk to coaches without overselling, right? So I think the question is when they're doing outreach to these coaches or to the programs where they want to play, how should they approach that?
Well, I think, obviously, when you write, a letter, a lot of people, we actually splash it out there. We try, to throw it up on the wall like spaghetti and see which would stick and which won't. But the point
Mhm.
of it is, if you are really sincere and you have, a reach, you have a place you really are interested in going. I always suggest to my players, okay, reach out to them, email them, send your package, but then write a handwritten note and say, Coach, I'm going
Mm.
to be here at this time. I'm going to be here. I'm going to be there. And a lot of times I tell them to put them like in like a UPS or some type of FedEx overnight package because that
Yeah.
gets to them. And all of a sudden you get a handwritten note. I mean, something that's handwritten, say, Coach, I've really always wanted to be a Penn State Nittany Lion. I've always wanted to be, go to Penn State or wherever they want to go.
Yeah.
So, but see, it's almost you're doing a double duty. You're not just trying to promote yourself, but you're also trying to recruit the coach, to recruit you because he's saying, "Wow, this young man, this young woman's really interested in going here." So, do we have, him or her on our radar? The point of it is, a lot of coaches understand, sort of this whole notion of blanket emails and blanket letters or whatever. But I remember when I was on staff at University of Virginia, Coach Morgan and myself, he put out a stack of 300 files one day at the very first meeting of the team in the fall. This is many, many years ago. He goes, these are the files of young men who wanted to come to the University of Virginia to play
Mm.
golf.
Yeah.
They aren't here, you are. And that sort of really had a profound impact on me because here are 300 other lives that they would have given everything to come to Charlottesville, Virginia to be a Cavalier, but they just didn't make the grade. So
Yeah.
the 8 or 9 that we had, they felt pretty special. So the point of it is, yes, it's very competitive. It is. But once, a coach knows that you're interested and that you're willing, to really put yourself out there for them, I
Yeah.
think you should feel like you're going to get a favorable response.
Okay, wonderful. Yeah. Handwritten note. Gosh, I mean that's
Absolutely.
using USPS. There's something different. Honestly, there's something different about getting a letter or a postcard, right, in the mail that's delivered to you in person. So that's a great idea. Very great
It
idea.
is. We live in such, an AI world, and
Yeah.
AI writes everything for you. Do something. Do
Yeah.
something real. Do something human. Do
Something
something from the
authentic.
heart.
Yeah,
Write
right.
it out
Right.
and say, boom, this is who I am. And I'll tell you what, that'll go a
Mm.
lot further than, 1,000 likes on somebody's Instagram. I got to tell you.
Yeah, yeah, wonderful, wonder. Okay, so Dr. Bob, one last. Well, I think we could wrap it up here, but
Okay.
what do you have any closing remarks, and do you have an offer that you can present to our WAGT community?
Yeah, one of the things, that I'm doing, I am theconfidencedoctor.com. Confidence Doctor, I'm known globally as the Confidence Doctor because I've spent my whole life studying about competence, confidence, mastery, self-assurance, certitude. So what I'm, really presenting to the people on my website, theconfidencedoctor.com, you can reach me there, okay? And you can inquire, you can actually reach out to me. It has, my email and my email address. You can reach out to me there, theconfidencedoctor.com. And for those of you who are, presently on the World Amateur Golf Tour, your members, I am working now on my site where I have a putting course, the 10 mental rules for great putting. And it's suggested now. I think it's like $50. It's like 10 videos that you can watch. Separately. You can watch them all at once. I mean, it's just mind expanding. Really what this video does because I've spent almost 40 years studying about how great putters think, how they actually act. What's the very best way to practice. What's the very best way to think when I've got a 10-footer, to make the putt to win the championship. So I go into all of these things. It's on my website. So we're going to be offering a special coupon discount, and that will be given to all of our members here through the email. But if you want to also work with me, and I know that you are a World Amateur Golf Tour member, I think we have a little discount that we actually give you off of my hourly rate as well. So I'm theconfidencedoctor.com, Dr. Bob Winters. If you want to find out more about me, you can Google me. You can go to my website. I've been around for a long time. As Gene said, I'm sort of the godfather of junior golf development, but I work with players of all levels, all around the world, in all the different tours. So real proud to be part, of this new organization. And I think it's going to be an unbelievable journey, and I hope all of you, jump in there and get into the next tournament. And hopefully I'll see you at the next event.
Yes, absolutely. Well, in the fall, we're going to be in Orlando. We're doing the Orlando Swing in the fall, starting in October. So,
Yes.
yeah, I would love to see you,
Yeah.
Doctor. Hopefully, you could come to one of our events, and definitely we could go grab a bite to eat.
Yeah, absolutely. Maybe we can even do like a little question and answer seminar one evening with the
Yeah,
golfers who are attending. So, we kick that idea around a little bit, Gene. So that
yeah.
would be good.
All right, fantastic. Fantastic.
Hey.
Okay, well, thank you very much. Doctor, again, really, really appreciate you taking the time. I know you're a very busy person and I know that your rate is very, very high. So we definitely appreciate you taking and spending us uh, for this uh, for this 1 hour. Um, Thank you again. And like I said, this call is being recorded, and so I will be able to share this out with our WAGT community, and certainly I'll share it with you too, Dr. Bob.
All right. Thank you, Gene. And remember, everybody, the moment you change your mind, you change your game. We'll see you out there on the fairway.
All right. Thanks, everybody. If you have any information or you'd like any information about WAGT, go to our website, worldamateurgolftour.com. And also please follow us at worldamateurgolftour.com or at World Amateur Golf Tour. All right. Thanks, everybody. Thank you, Dr. Bob Winters.
Thank you, Gene.
All right. Bye for now.
Bye bye now.
Let's stop. Did that stop?
We all
There we
good
go.
in here
End
now,
meeting. There we
Gene?
go.